Check 1, 2, check 1, 2.
Check 1, 2, 3, check.
Can you say that, Mom?
Oh, check 1, 2, 3, check 1, 2.
Hey everyone! Welcome to the Fishbowl Podcast.
I'm Sydney.
And I'm Brooke.
And I'm Shawn.
And today we have a very special guest with us.
Our very own mother, our matriarch, and we have a festive topic for you guys through the holiday season. We're going to be talking about how to balance family and church commitments over the holidays. So, let's dive in together.
Welcome, Mom.
Yay, I'm so glad to be here.
Yay.
It's exciting. It's been a long time coming.
Long time coming.
Because without you, we would not have this podcast.
Yes.
That is true. Good
It's
point.
very true. And without you raising us, we wouldn't be here with this podcast.
Amen.
Because we may have been down a dark path.
Yeah.
How does it feel to have raised children in
That are
ministry?
perfect.
The best kids ever.
I would say I feel like we were really intentional about raising you, and now I'm enjoying all the hard work we put in for all those years, and I just get to enjoy now.
Was it really hard?
It was really hard.
Who was it like harder for?
It was the hardest for me. It was the hardest for me.
Well, I would say you probably have some wisdom because clearly, I mean, you did something right. Me and Brooke keep saying, like, when we have kids, we just want to put them through what it was like to grow up with their parents planning a church so that they turn out like us. Because for some reason that worked pretty well.
It gets you in line pretty quick.
Yeah. But, well, you should go to church.
In all seriousness, we understand that the holidays are a really busy time for people and kids growing up in ministry and their families. And we feel like our parents did a really good job of, like, keeping the holiday fun and, like, keeping the traditions and, like, balancing church and family really well. And that's because our mom, like, had so much, made it so magical for us around the holidays. So we just wanted to bring her on to talk about how she did that, because it's a lot to balance. I mean, sometimes we're having, like, how many services?
This
on
year we're
Christmas
having 9
Eve.
services, but even in the past when we started, I think we were having like 5, something like that. And also, you guys were way more like hands-on with it, so you guys were there a lot more.
And, like, that's hard. Like, I remember in school people being like, oh, what's your Christmas Eve like? And I'm like, you're asking the wrong girl. Like, I'm at church.
Girl, I'm working.
I'm working like a dog.
I'm in that kid's ministry. I'm living like a boss.
Yes.
Someone's eternity's gonna be changed. What's your Christmas like?
Yeah.
What did you get for Christmas? I gave help lead someone to Jesus in my life. But
I ran that kid's ministry. What about it?
I do think that one thing that your dad and I did well is we did embrace that pendulum of ministry. Like, we knew when the heavy seasons were, so knowing we were going into the heavy season, we would plan some, like, intentional things along the way. We filled our calendar before other people filled our calendar, and maybe...
Ooh. Can you say that again?
Say again.
Good.
You can tweet that.
Okay.
We filled our calendar before other people filled our calendar because we just really wanted to be intentional with our children and making sure that they had a best experience. I think I always felt like if we had spent all this time investing in the church, investing in the community, but our kids hated going to church, then I felt like we would have failed. Like, ultimately, you guys have to decide if you want to follow Jesus or what path you want to take, but I didn't want to get in the way of making y'all resent church or resent anything about it, so we were just real intentional and aware about that.
That's a really good point, because I think it is, I mean, we've talked about this before, but I think it is common for kids to resent going to church. I mean, especially around Christmas. Like, that can be very overwhelming, but how do you feel like you did that with us? Like, how did you balance, like, obviously you want your kids to go to church, but you don't want to force them to go to church, and ultimately we were choosing to go to church, but how did you get to that point?
I think I just did a lot of leading up to Christmas. I did a lot of preparation so that you girls knew that when Christmas Day came, that we were fully present with you. I wasn't in the back room wrapping presents, or I wasn't running out to the store or whatever. So I worked really hard on the front end, knowing that we were going to have a week of just insanity with the church and preparations and being there and practices and all of that. So I would work really far ahead. I mean, I would go as far as to put y'all stockings together and put them in Ziploc bags. Oh, sorry.
Santa has our stockings. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, sometimes I would help a little bit. But I would do a lot of that so that really I could be present on Christmas Day. And then I know your dad and I always made plans to be with y'all after Christmas. We would be like, girls, we know this is going to be crazy. We know we're not going to be spending a lot of quality time. But after Christmas, it's just going to be the four of us. We're going to go on a trip, or we're going to go to Disney for the day, or we're going to whatever it was. We always had something fun to point you to after the hecticness of Christmas.
That's true. I mean, me and Sydney did really enjoy, and we always looked forward to what was coming after Christmas, but we also really grew to enjoy the Christmas services.
Yeah, I feel like that is when I feel like it's Christmas the most, you know, when you're at your Christmas services at the church.
But that's not the story for everyone, and I think what helped with that is, like, you guys never said, oh, you need to be at all 9 services or else, you know, like, it was something that we had the freedom to choose, right? Like, how did that work?
We did give y'all the option. We never forced y'all to do things, well, for the most part, outside of some kids ministry moments. We never really forced y'all or pushed y'all. We just kind of let y'all go where you were naturally drawn to be a part of. But I think we also valued your opinion along the way. So if we were making a decision about Christmas services or something to do in kids ministry or something to do outside, we would invite your opinions in, and we valued those. But I think one of the greatest things that we did is at our church we offer salvation on Christmas services, and one thing that we do is we have people hold up a light saying, I'm giving my life to Christ today, and we would invite you girls in the back to help count the salvations, so that you had more like ownership in the ministry.
And I think it was cool too, being on like the planning end of things and watching like you guys were covering. We would be helping with like random stuff too, like prepping at our house, and then knowing like the people that we'd invite, or like knowing the people that our friends would invite, and then getting to be in there when like the lights were going up, and like I think you get to see it come full circle of like, this is what we're doing in the prep, and then this is like the difference that it's making.
Yeah, I love that we just invited y'all into ministry with us. And I think y'all, we got to enjoy that with y'all. And it was hard together.
Yeah. Like you guys were saying earlier about like we always had something to look forward to. I know like our family's a big tradition family, thanks to our father mostly. But like we knew we had traditions for Christmas, and there were things that we do, and we always did them, even if it was like a rush, like with all the services. Like I know like my dad like would always make sure like we did our traditions, like some leading up to Christmas, some like on Christmas Day and after that. So that was nice to always like have things to look forward to that were like a constant, because stuff with church is always like changing and stuff. So
what are some of our Christmas traditions that we can talk about? Like some of them are just really small.
Well, we go and look at Christmas lights.
Yes. I know there's a tree at our local mall that does like a thing.
Yeah.
And we haven't gone as much, but yeah, that was like a big thing, and I remember squeezing that in some years.
We would read 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. We open one gift on Christmas Eve. Like
y'all would sleep under the tree with your dad and watch Elf.
Oh my gosh.
On Christmas Eve.
On the day before Christmas Eve, and then sometimes you'd have services the next day. And Mom would try to be like, look, like, why don't you guys do that like a different night? Like trying to help Dad, and Dad was like, no, it's a tradition. We are going to sleep under the tree.
Even when we'd have services on Christmas Eve, there would be times like chaotic or not, we would go look at Christmas lights after church.
We probably read 'Twas Night Before
we
Christmas.
Did,
after
and
midnight.
it's just we were looking forward to it, and it's something that took 5 minutes that we could do.
I remember
We love that.
the one year when Christmas Eve, we had a service on Christmas Eve. You guys are gonna know what I'm talking about, but it was after midnight, and we were still cleaning up from services. Okay, and I know it can be controversial, but we are a Santa family, and Santa comes to our house at midnight.
To this day.
At midnight too, and it was midnight, and we were crying. We were like,
we had NORAD track Santa up. We were like, he's over Florida.
yeah, because it says he
We're
has
like,
delivered
girls, y'all better clean up faster.
Yeah, I think that was, well, I knew you guys talked about that as a moment where you were like, okay, we're gonna try to get ahead of this now,
Yeah.
so that doesn't happen. But that was traumatic. And then Dad literally shows us proof of an email that he sent to Santa saying that he already organized. So we felt very special that Santa knew, we're changing eternal souls. So
Yeah.
And we still got our presents from Santa that year, and he knew what we were doing.
So, question for Mom. Were there any boundaries you had to set when, around the holidays for protecting family time?
Yeah, and I really think that was by us creating our own calendar, what was important to us, we filled in first. For example, one thing, because I had 2 girls, we loved to go pick out our Christmas outfits together.
Yes.
So we would calendar that. We would set those times a priority before other people invited us to things. And a lot of times they were really good things that people included us in and invited us to. But we knew in this season, with the chaos of all the services and everything that's involved with it, that we didn't want to miss time with our children.
Mm-hmm.
So we did have boundaries, but we used most of those with the calendar.
Wait, can we just talk about the outfits for a second?
Let's talk about
I
the
think
outfits.
this was the key for us. If you're looking for the key to keeping
This is
your
it.
kids excited
Sean.
about
Okay.
Christmas,
Get ready, write this down, y'all.
Christmas outfits, taking them shopping. But okay, yes and no. But my parents would take us out and we would go shopping because my dad would usually get something to wear for stage for Christmas weekend, and then my mom would get something. So we would go out as kids, and since I don't know, we were girls, but also something that we like, or into fashion and shopping. My parents would take us to go and get a Christmas outfit.
Yeah.
And that was fun. I looked forward to that every year.
Yeah, I did too. And I think that's what worked for us. We love clothes.
Because we love
shopping,
clothes, and then we'd want to come to church. Not that they were doing this on purpose, but we'd want to wear our outfits to church, because we felt
this was our Met Gala.
it was. And
But
we were so
I
excited.
think the key to all of that is that we were present with y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we would have that afternoon of shopping, we weren't on the phone, we weren't doing emails. When we were with y'all, we were present with y'all.
Yeah. And we do a little fashion show.
Yeah. It was
The
really fun.
fashion show.
we would all go to the stores and help each other and try on the outfits.
Yeah. And maybe you're listening and you're like, my kids hate clothes, they hate shopping. I just think you can find something that maybe would appeal to them to do every year. Maybe it's the Christmas Lego sets. You go do a Lego set each year, or
Yeah.
something that your kid would like that they can look forward to doing.
Yeah, an
every
ultimate Nerf battle game. Whatever your kid's commodity
Sing
is,
along.
find out what that
Karaoke.
is, and really lean into that and be intentional and be present.
Yeah. And just talk about the outfits even more. That was something that still has not stopped. Now that I'm out of the house, they don't take me shopping to buy my Christmas outfit anymore, but you best believe I'm buying myself a Christmas outfit. And now, since our services take up 3 days, I have to have 3, of course.
What about shoes? Do you have to
Shoes?
choose shoes differently now than when you were
Oh
younger?
my gosh. But heels always match my outfits.
I know.
But then I'm running around. So yeah, it's very hard, but I try to still stick with the heels. But I do have to bring a backup shoe.
You're
with
much
me.
younger. Enjoy the heels. Enjoy the heels.
But one thing that Brooke and I have found, Brooke,
Newly
is
plug.
it's our new favorite thing to do for events, especially for church stuff. For example, our Christmas services, we have 9 services that take over 3 days, and so we actually just placed a Newly order.
Yes.
And what Newly is where you can rent high-end clothes for just a fraction of the cost for the whole month.
Yeah, I think it shakes down to what, like $20 an item?
Yeah, less than that.
15.
Yeah, and
Crazy.
and like they're really expensive things I would never buy on my own, but you can rent them for a month and then you just return them. They make it super easy. And I actually we have an account with them that we use.
Yeah.
And we just ordered our Christmas outfits, so be on the lookout on our social media. We'll be posting
excited
about them because we had fun picking them out, and it's nice because you can get like anything on the website for that same price. But yeah, I'm gonna link it in our show notes. It's nuuly.com, and if you click the link in the show notes, it will give you $30 off your first order, which is amazing because you could like order it. If you ordered it now, it could probably come in for Christmas services.
Yeah, for sure.
And you get $30 off, so that's even better.
So fun. And if like, I mean, we split the cost.
Yeah, we just split the cost.
Your mom and you want to do it with your girls, like there's kids' clothes, there's men's
like matching clothes too. Yeah,
it's super fun, and you guys can all split it.
Yeah, it's honestly even better when we split it because like I'm getting a few items, she's getting a few items, we're just splitting it, and then it's easy if you don't if you want to cancel it or snooze your subscription, you can. So I'll probably snooze it until Easter time when it's time for the next gala, our next fashion show. But anyways, look for that in the show notes. $30 off nuuly.com. Nuuly.
Is there anything like you girls? So we've been doing this for 18 years, pretty much most of your lives. Anything like you wished you could have told us over those 18 years that we probably could have approached differently?
Tea.
We're tired.
We're tired.
I should also clarify with this podcast, I don't vet it. We don't know what they're going to say, so everything they say is authentic and genuine, and the good, the bad, and the ugly, and I get to hear it when everyone else hears it. But is there anything y'all wished we had approached differently? Because we did really try to include y'all. We would throw parties for the staff kids, and
that was something really cool.
Get y'all really involved and get your opinions, and I think we just valued y'all. I mean, I'm talking about from elementary school on up, and as you've grown and gotten older, like I value your insights and opinion even more.
Gosh. I don't think so. I mean, and I think there were times where we genuinely voiced our opinion.
Yeah,
like I can remember one Christmas Eve being like, "Can we please not talk about church? Like, can we just talk about other things?" But like if there was something that we were like, "Oh, I don't want to serve these services. Like, do I have to sign up to this year?" Like, you guys. Like, we would just tell you guys, and it was always very open conversations.
You guys would try to give us an out. Like, you would literally bring my grandparents to town, well, my pop, and be like, he's here, he can hang out with you guys during services. And we were like, no, we have commitments, so we're going to be at church.
We committed.
We have an outfit to show off.
Like, and Pop can't come to church with us.
Yeah, now he serves with us.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I wouldn't say there's anything
I don't know.
I would do different.
Maybe we'll revise
We voiced our opinions, yeah.
Yeah, we did. We really did.
I think over the years with extended family, it would be challenging because the whole world is on one schedule for Christmas Day dinner, Christmas Eve.
Yeah, because most people have weekends off.
Right.
And usually when our Christmas services are, it's a few days before Christmas or, around then, and that's when families are wanting to do things. And I know, like, we've already gotten messages about that and, like, things happening. We're like, we can't, like, we have services.
Yeah, and we just did the best we could. And fortunately, like, Gary's parents are wonderful, and my dad is wonderful.
Oh, you said fortunately.
And fortunately.
Oh, I said unfortunately.
Yes. I said, and fortunately, they're wonderful. And so, like, even though we couldn't make some of the standard traditional family events, we just found other times to get together. So we just honestly, it just came down to intentionality and being present and pre-planning.
And I think for us, like, our Christmas days have turned more into, like, rest as well. We're, like, we do enjoy time with our family, and then we just, like, chillax and hang out together, and, like, we just spend a lot of time together. Like, we stay in our PJs, and I know everyone's Christmas day is probably different, but, yeah, we we do wake up early and do gifts and all that, but then we just chill out, hang out.
That's, kind of going back to what Mom was saying, like, we know once that last service ends and we're headed home, like, we get them for the next few days. We get them fully on Christmas Day. They're not working. We're not, like, talking about, like, stressful things. Like, it's just fully family. And I think when you create that environment, then it kind of gives kids, like, a breath of fresh air, being like, okay, almost done, and then I get my parents fully, right?
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah, I think we fought for that.
So just to kind of close out our time together, I know we covered a lot, but all in all, Mom, what advice would you give to other parents of pastors' kids listening?
I think I would say embrace the pendulum of ministry. There's never balance. If you think you're going to have balance in ministry, you'll never achieve that. But there are definitely busier seasons and busier times. So know when those are coming and then build in intentional time with your family. I think intentionality is the key word here, because when you're with your kids, you want to be present with them and you want to not neglect them. You know, I think in ministry we get confused and we say yes to a lot of good things, but we do miss the yes for the God thing, which is our family, which is our spouse, which is, you know, what God has given us. So use your nose and be okay and comfortable with that. Create the traditions with your kids. Find their commodity and do what makes them come alive, but build it in, put it on the calendar, and make sure that it happens. And I would say, you know, also make those after Christmas plans so that they have something to look forward to if there is a busy day, week, month that they don't get a lot of intentional time with you. Mm-hmm. But I think that's really it. Anything you girls would add that helped us get through it? I would say invite your kids into your ministry. Get their opinions. Let them choose how and how much they want to be a part of something, because then they'll be more alive in whatever they step into and wherever they serve.
I agree. I think having the flexibility to be able to choose where we served and how much we served was helpful. It made us, because we were doing things that made us come alive, we were more energized to like want to be there. And then again, being in on the whole process from like start to finish was really cool. And then getting to hear and see the life change is also what made it even more worth it, because we're kids and we're getting to do things that are going to have an eternal difference, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. I second all of that. That was so good. Definitely a lot of takeaways here. Thank you so much, Mom, for coming on the podcast.
Yay! That was so fun.
Okay, we hope this helps some of you guys who were looking for ways to keep their tradition and the family time alive throughout all the church commitments. And yeah.
And don't forget, guys, make sure to visit our website. On there you can submit your questions to us so we can do more of these. Again, like, subscribe, share this podcast so that we can get it out to other pastors' kids.
Thank you so much for listening. We're wishing everybody a Merry Christmas. We'll see you next time in the Fishbowl.